Hello friends, Dr. Larry Mitnaul, your friendly neighborhood child and adolescent psychiatrist, and a time for us to talk again. So there's a question that's been coming, that's been submitted by you, the viewers and subscribers, so thanks for sending those questions in. It's a question that has arisen also from the number of nursing and medical students who rotate with me in clinic. It's also come up with friends as well. And that question is, so what brought you to this field? I mean, what got you interested in child and adolescent psychiatry? And so I thought it'd be worthy of our time to kind of explore that a little bit, because I think it is such a wonderful field and the need is really great. And so what better venue to kind of share at least the things that attracted me and pulled me in with all of you. Maybe there's a budding child psychiatrist who's watching this. I know there's a number of med school students and residents who have begun their hospital journeys this fall. And so perhaps this can be a resource for you as well. And so this question also is really pertinent because of how great the need is. I've probably talked about it before, and you've heard me say it before. There are, on estimate, 8,300 child and adolescent psychiatrists in the United States. Now, the current estimates of kids who could benefit from the specialty expertise of a child and adolescent psychiatrist are somewhere in the order of 15 million kids. So clearly you can see that even with the number of psychiatrists that we have in the community, there aren't enough to really address all the needs and concerns that might arise in the life of kids and families that need us. And so in one way, that's actually part of my mission here, is recognizing that I'm not going to be able to see all the kids in even in my region of the United States. And so this channel was formed really on the basis of helping support families, helping kids to thrive, helping people that love them to help them thrive too. So with that said, don't forget to like and subscribe below. And certainly leave your comments as well. It turns out that is super helpful in helping us to spread this message of hope, but also, again, extending this information and education to the kids who are maybe beyond the scope, either because of geography or because of access to really great information to help them thrive. So thanks for joining the mission and being a part of that. So why child and adolescent psychiatry? I think there are a number of things that have drawn me in. And so as I reflect back on my life, I think there are some early experiences that really framed me, that helped me to get in the mind of someone whose particular interest is in sitting with people and talking about the things that are hardest in their lives, the things that they're struggling with, maybe things that they've not talked to anyone else about except for intimate family or clergy or perhaps no one, and helping them to see themselves maybe more accurately, and help them to grow in the areas of their lives, to break certain patterns that they see themselves locked into or limited by. So as you can imagine, there are probably a 1.5 million different ways that people get to the same road who share this interest. But I'll give you mine. If I had to pull out a couple of things, I think even in middle school, I think we were nominated by teachers to be part of this group called peer mediators, where we learned how to resolve conflict among our peers. Now, I'm not sure how often I actually got to use it. I don't remember practicing it very much, but I guess you could call that my earliest kind of psychiatric training in conflict resolution was in middle school. And apparently some teacher saw that in me at that age. So thank you to whomever that was. Additionally, I grew up in a house, and my father is a minister. And so as you might imagine, he would spend, hours on the phone, either in counsel or consultation or consoling someone. That's a lot of C's. But helping families, with whatever particular struggles they were going through. And I'm sure that, watching how good he was at it. Obviously I wasn't privy to a lot of those conversations, but But just that feeling of being able to sit with someone, maybe sit with them in their pain and helping them navigate through, I think that did have a substantial kind of impact on me. So fast forward, medical school. So medical school is really hard, right? I think for many people who've done a lot of schooling, and as many of you know, I've done quite a bit. So undergrad and 2 graduate programs and then medical school. And so while being there, I thought, I knew that I loved the pediatric population a lot. So much so that I thought about a lot of different, specialties within pediatrics. Maybe being a general pediatrician or working in the ICU, seeing kids of varying heights and sizes. As a matter of fact, in my surgical rotation, I actually elected to be in a pediatric surgery rotation, thinking that would probably be the best fit for me because I like to use my hands. I'm a drummer. I enjoy thinking fast on my feet, and I tend not to get overly flustered when presented with a ton of information. And I thought this might be just the right speed for me. So that's how my year was geared. I had decided that near the end of it, near the end of your 3rd year, you're applying and putting in, you've gathered your recommendations from friends. You're gonna, apply and be put in the match for residency. And so that last part of the spring semester, I was actually in psychiatry. Now, psychiatry always seemed interesting. I mean, anyone who's taken kind of intro psych, courses think, no, the mind is really incredible. In fact, I'd actually taken a class called The Psychology of Horror Films in undergrad as well, that taught me a lot actually about the brain, about how the brain likes to jump to conclusions, and how directors can use that in making really great films. So I knew psychiatry was going to be interesting, but I didn't really think it was for me. That wasn't the type of thing I could see myself doing, but it would be interesting. So I'll save it to the end because I won't need a lot of recommendations or anything from that rotation. I can just learn some really good stuff and then apply that to seeing kids. All right, so that's what I went in thinking. What happened during that rotation? So during that rotation, I was in an adult unit, seeing kids with a resident physician, so someone who had already, completed their 4 years of medical school and knew that they wanted to do psychiatry, so they were learning everything they could to do that job well. And so they also put us in specialty clinics. So within psychiatry, as you may know, there are a lot of different specialties that you can choose. So there are people who focus on just doing consultation work, meaning that within the hospital, they're working with surgeons and internists and, on the OB floor, and they're brought in as the psychiatric expert working alongside their physician colleagues in other specialties. There are some who maybe focus on geriatrics, or some who do more, forensics. All right, so there's a range, and I got placed in the child psychiatry outpatient clinic. Okay, my first day in the clinic, we look at the list of patients who are coming in. And rather than start with shadowing, which is a lot of what early medical school clinical experience is, where you watch and you mirror and match someone. So you're either watching a resident or you're walking around with your attending physician, kind of taking notes on things, and he's or she's asking you questions in real time. Instead, this was the first rotation where someone actually said, here, these will be your patients. And I want you to go in and talk to the family and see them and introduce yourself. And then I want you to come out of the room and tell me what it is that you saw and what you were thinking. And I'll either bless the plan or we'll go and get some more information and work on helping these families. That process was transformational, right? I found myself thinking about family dynamics in a really intense way. I got to play with kids, and in trying to get into their mind, I could be a little childlike to do it. And on the other side of recovery and seeing kids thrive, often I was able to help a family be stronger together, a child to be more integrated with their peers, kids to have less struggles with managing their emotions, or their feelings not being so overwhelming, that their lives were significantly better. That feeling of being able to help someone without, placing a line, without inserting a needle, without, doing something a bit more invasive, was really, really exhilarating. The other thing that attracted me, so I just happened to be with people who are also just very family focused. I think one of my attendings, Dr. Matthews, shout out to you, who continues to be kind of a source of inspiration for the doctor I aspire to be. At the end of clinic, might throw on his, martial arts gi to go do, karate with his family in the afternoon. And so these physicians seem to be both knowledgeable and great at connecting with people and helping them to thrive. So lastly, what keeps me doing psychiatry? The number one answer is the families are great. The kids are great too, and so it's just a wonderful process, and it's an honor to be a part of someone's life in such an intimate way, that you're in many ways kind of the cheerleader to urging them on to take on new challenges, to mount new heights, and so that is just really rewarding, and can never get, I don't think I can ever get tired of that. The second is that the mind is so broad, and the brain is so vast that there's still so much to learn. So you can't be bored in this field, because there's just endless inquiry, research going on to better unlock facets of how do we help people thrive. Where do our personalities come from? How do we influence people in ways to help them do as well as they can do? And so all of those things put together make this an absolutely wonderful field. The last thing I'll say is this, is that I love the experience of having students with me in clinic, or nurses work with us in clinic, who then say, I don't know what I expected. I expected a lot of danger and violence and sadness and horror. And not to say that the pain isn't real, that people do see us for concerns about aggressive behaviors and that sort of thing. But that's often not the experience, though, of being in a clinic and working with a family and getting to know someone, or watching a teenager's guard kind of drop or melt away a little bit as they begin to kind of trust and get to know you, and you're working collaboratively together. So if you're thinking about it, here's my plug. I want you to see if you can spend some time with someone who works in this area, or read as much as you can, and certainly to follow along here. And if there are other particular questions that you have about it, feel free to send them, and I'll try to incorporate those and maybe more detailed videos in the future. Thanks for watching, my friends. Take good care and be well.